What's up, YouTube? Kedris here. This is my match preview for Nottingham Forest versus Aston Villa in the Europa League semifinal. Now, I'm not going to be one of them people that say whoever wins this game is going to win the Europa League. I don't think it's as clear cut as that at all. But I think whoever does win this game is the clear favorite to win the Europa League final and go and take the Europa League trophy and a Champions League spot for next season. So, what are the tactics? What are the breakdowns? How are Aston Villa going to attack us? Let's get into it now. I kind of hyped that up a little bit, but we have to start with injuries. It's my forte. So, looking at Aston Villa, we're lucky enough to be able to use the premierinjuries.com for this one because we're both teams in the Premier League. Boubacar Kamara seems to be ruled out. Allison ruled out, and Amadou Onana. Let's take a look. Testing yesterday. So it appears that he will probably be out against us, which is a good sign because Kamara and Onana seem to always do something against us, and that's going to leave them more defensively vulnerable in the middle of the park because Kamara and Onana are very, very good DMs, very good sixes. So they're probably going to be operating with something that's a little bit less defensive, but also more attacking. We'll get to it when we get the lineup, Moving to Nottingham Forest, not so good, guys. Callum Hudson-Odoi has been ruled out for the season. John Victor, I think he's pretty much never going to play again. Savona ruled out because of surgery. Murillo, April 23rd, he is out. We'll see how long. It's a muscle injury. I'm not a doctor. I cannot predict, but he will be out tomorrow. I think it'll be more than one game. More than one game. So I'm going to go off the assumption that Murillo will not be available for this Aston Villa game because it says more than one game. And he only missed one game, which was the one at the weekend. Well, Sunderland. Jair Cunha, shoulder injury. I'm concerned about this because if we lose players in the same positions this time, it's a big problem. Hope we'll see him. I'm not a doctor, so we will see. So 75% is being assessed right now. So I've heard down the grapevine that he's going to play. His shoulder is injured, but he's going to wear a brace and he's going to play. Now, could that change at the last minute? Because maybe he's not feeling comfortable. Maybe he's not feeling confident enough. Could be. Could also be a thing where, like something happens in the game, he gets injured and he gets pulled off early, and they don't want to really have to take that risk. So we could see Morato. But I'm going to go to the assumption Jair Cunha is available moving forward. Ibrahim Sangare, he's got a knock. He'll be fine. He'll play. Willy Bolly, injured. I actually don't know what. I know it's a foot problem, but I don't. It's a knee problem now? I don't think we're going to see Willy Bolly ever again. Great guy, though. Great servant for the club. Love him to death. But, yeah, as you can see, Nottingham Forest, we're going through it right now. And for some reason, going through it, we are playing better. So let's talk about it. In an unconventional move, I decided to start with the Nottingham Forest team. Why is that? Because I'm really confident in what I think the team's going to be, but not so confident on the Aston Villa thing. But, yeah, whatever. Anyway, so 4-4-2, if you want to call it that. I think it's actually more of a 4-2-2-2 just because of the inversion of the players. I mean, at the end of the day, all of this, when it comes to formations, is semantics. It really is. But I think it will be Wood, Igor Jesus, Gibbs White, Anderson, Hutchinson, Anderson, Sangare, Aina, Milinkovic, Murillo. I don't think will be available. I think it will be Jair Cunha. You need to be prepared if Jair is not ready to go for Murillo to play, guys. I would prefer Abbott. I'm just saying, I would prefer Abbott, but you need to be prepared for a Morato appearance. Williams on the left, Ortega in goal is the lineup that we are looking at. If Murillo is available, I would be up for thinking about switching to a 3-back, but he's not, so we just stick with a 4-2-2-2 moving forward. And it's just a great formation for us. I forgot to save it. And, I'm just not going to leave it like that. There we go. I had to fix it again. But it's great for us because what it does is it takes somebody who plays the 10, Igor Jesus, who plays the 10, shadow striker, whatever you want to call it, and it leaves him central. And the problem you had with Morgan Gibbs White playing that 10 position is he was always doing this. He was always going out wide, leaving the position, and then when it did is it left a hole in the park that the striker had to come back to help fill. And it just took away from our attack, helped with our build-up, but didn't really do anything. Now that he's over here, Gibbs White on the left side, he's able to affect the game still, but he's able to attack the back post. He's really good at jumping and heading. He's able to come inside, but he's limiting his range, and it allows him to do his little flicks and tricks without any consequence, really, because who do you want trying to do that stuff? Your wingers. So there you go. I think this formation works out perfectly for him. I know he wants to see himself as a 10, but for us specifically, he just moves too much fettering around. Igor holds the middle. I just think this is probably our best formation and could be our signature style going into next season. Moving to the Aston Villa team, I got some conflicting thoughts, and I've listened to a couple of Villa fans who've talked about it, but I think this is probably close to what they're going to go with. Maybe. I don't know. They have a lot of really good options, but Luka Dean at left back, Mings at center back, and that's your first kind of controversy because some people, a very minority of people, want Pau Torres to be the guy playing just because he's left footed. But I feel like if you have Mings, why don't you play Mings? He's better than Pau Torres. So I put him in there. Konza, obviously a really good center back. Cash, right back, solid, former Forest guy. Love to see him. And this is the other area. A lot of Villa fans are saying, no, Onana needs to play. He only missed the game because he wanted to save himself. Guys, unfortunately, I don't think players think like that. He was injured, and from what I can see, he's very doubtful to play. So I think it will be Bogart, who's not as physically present, airily present as Onana. Unfortunately, Kamara has also been out. So Bogart's going to be an interesting one because he doesn't really got that many minutes. And every time I've watched him play, especially when I watched the replay of the game at the weekend, doesn't really look like he's not like the dominating figure that the others are. And we were doing really good against Onana when we played them the last time. So I don't want to talk about the first time. It was the whole Victor thing. I don't talk about it. But he doesn't look like he's up to the snuff that the other guys are. Then they have Tielemans, obviously a great player, but you can mark him out of the game, which we have done before. Like I said, he wasn't the problem the last time we played against them. Then you have Ollie Watkins, who obviously ran away from Milinkovic after he got dominated and tried to attack those wide areas. So you're going to see probably him not have that initial kind of like, oh, I can win. He's just going to immediately probably go to these outside areas to better keep the, the ability to affect the game. McGinn obviously tore up Anderson last time we played. I think with Morgan Gibbs White out there to help him, who's going to come back and be more helpful defensively than Callum Hudson-Odoi was, I think you're going to see a quieter game from McGinn. And then really the guy who could really blow this whole thing up is Morgan Rogers. He was a non-factor basically in that first game. He had that one really good cross that resulted in an own goal, but outside of that, didn't score, and I think didn't really affect the match that much. So could we see him on the left again and have Ross Barkley at the 8 and Tielemans at 10? I think that would be dumb. I think you need to move him central to where he can try to affect the game because to be completely frank, and the last time we played Aston Villa, they didn't score a single goal, and they didn't look like to score a goal. So I think a lot of people are saying that they saved themselves when they played the weekend, and that's why they lost. I don't think so. I just think they've hit a really bad slump, and it could be the type of slump that undoes their season. They're just not playing good right now. I think Buendia comes in on the left, but I've seen people saying that Jadon Sancho could do it. I don't rate Sancho, so I would like for them to pick Buendia. If I was a Villa fan, I would like for them to pick Buendia. But, I don't know the exact thinking of Unai Emery. So, you could see McGinn in the 10. It just depends on what he thinks the matchups are. I just think because McGinn kind of overpowered Anderson the first time, or the last time we played, he's probably going to play him there again. So that really leaves only like Sancho or Buendia open, which Buendia, he's a guy, man. He can score a good goal. I think he has a lot less of an impact when he starts a game than if he comes on as a super sub. When he comes on as a super sub, that's when he always seems to do those miracle goals and all that kind of stuff. If he starts, he's like who's a good comparison? Harvey Barnes for Newcastle. When Barnes starts for Newcastle, he didn't really do much. But once he comes on as a super sub, oh my god, he's the best player on the planet. So I think that's kind of my thoughts on Buendia, and then obviously Ollie Watkins up top. They have Tammy Abraham as well behind him, but Watkins is the guy. He's been scoring goals. Obviously, starting that form that was on the up is starting to dip a little bit and come back down to the median. I just think to me, the way they're playing right now, the only person who can change the outcome is Morgan Rogers. We need to control him. I I think Sangari can do the job, but he's got to be on his toes, man. Sangari has been off of it a little bit these last couple games. He needs to be a presence. He needs to take control of the game in the middle of the park. Be like, okay, listen here. I know Anderson's a $100 million player, but for this game right here, I am the guy. Okay? It's me. I'm him. And he needs to boss the middle of that park and shut down Morgan Rogers, whether he be central or off the left. It is what it is, man. At the end of the day, football is a player versus player sport, even though it is a team sport. What do I mean by that? Well, it's about matchups. How do you match up against this player? How can the other team bring someone back to help if you don't think the matchup is good defensively or you think you're not going to get enough attacking wise? It's all about matchups. And to me, with Morgan Gibbs White playing that left wing, coming back to help, I think McGinn will be not as effective in this game, especially when he was 1v1 with Anderson. Rogers off the left or the 10 didn't affect the game the first time. Keep saying the first time, bro, but I mean the last time we played. And yeah. And so I don't expect him to really be that much of an impact again, but he is one of those players who can just show up out of nowhere and put in a performance where you're just like, what the fuck? So we gotta watch out for him. Sagari needs to be on his toes. Ina, obviously defensively sound, paying attention. He needs to help getting forward. I mean, they have a decent team, they really do, but I think they're starting to fall off a little bit. And if they don't have Onana in the midfield, who Onana, yeah, he wasn't that impactful, but he did win, I would say 55% of the ball that came toward him. Obviously, he lost possession of the ball a lot, but I think that could be a really, really big impact for them, especially if you have to have someone track Gibbs White at the back post. Like, Konza is going to obviously take on Chris Wood, so you're going to have Cash against Morgan. I think we win that. But, yeah. So, that's my thoughts on the game. If you like the video, please leave a like, subscribe, comment down below. Like I've always said, I really enjoy getting comments. I don't get enough of them. Lately, I got 2 new ones, so that's pretty cool. And, it's going to be a great game at the City Ground. Let's take a dub. I think we're going to win 2-0. I think we're going to win 2-0 because we are flying high. They're kind of on a downward slump. And they don't really just look up for it, man. They don't look up for it, but we do. So we're playing our best football of the season, playing in the formation that suits us the best. So it's time, here and now. Let's go. Come on, you Reds.